All right, you have an XY axis, which is like this. And you can plot all these numbers on an XY axis. And this is 1.5. This is perfect sugar right here, this line. If this is 11 o'clock here, this is 2 o'clock over here. This sugar, for most people, does something like this. Now, when you eat the big meal at nighttime, what you do is take this is called the valley. This is the peak, or the mountain. What the goal is, this is the wobble. From here, the high point to the low point. That's called the wobble. That's the wobble. The larger this wobble, the greater the zone of misery. So if you eat improperly and you skip your noontime meal, your sugar goes like this. Eat a big meal at nighttime, you get a big mountain. So what goes up must come down. So now this thing goes like this, and you have this big wobble, and you feel miserable all day long. Now once this goes over 6 on that scale, this quits happening. You stay up here in flatline, someplace where you go like this and go higher up in here. It does not come back down till you change your diet. What makes you feel poor is this sugar dropping, coming down and back up. Now what you want to do, you want to take the mountain out of the wobble, you want to take the valley out. So you follow the rules of the big meal at nighttime, or a big meal at noontime, small meal at night, and you end up like this, with a very small sine curve. And the lower that wobble is to that line, the closer that wobble is to that line, the more energy you pick up. And the healthier you become. Eventually what you'll do is flatline. You'll stay at 1.5. You'll stay at 1.5 all day and all night, no matter how much cake and ice cream you eat, and everything else, because your mineral supply is high. But the only way you get your mineral supply up is to eat properly and follow these rules. Many people think you can go from an energy level of 30 to 90 in 30 days. It doesn't work that way. It might, depending on what your age is, it might take you 5 years to pick that energy up. Is that what you wanted to see?
Yeah.
Okay, any questions on that? Yeah.
We've always been taught to eat a big breakfast.
I'm sorry, you were taught what?
We've always been taught to eat a big breakfast.
Yes, that's true.
It is true?
Oh yeah, yeah. There's an old saying, you're supposed to eat like a king at lunchtime, eat like a prince for breakfast, and eat like a pauper for supper.
Right.
Yeah. The big meal is supposed to be noontime. Then the next big meal, breakfast, and the smallest meal in the evening. My daughter-in-law called me the other day, and my son and daughter-in-law have a new baby. He's about 5 months old. And that baby's very healthy, and they feed her according to what I tell her. So she sent me a text the other night about 7 o'clock, and she said, I think her name, the little baby's name is Sarah. She said, I think Sarah is bored with her food. What else can I feed her? Now she's 5 months old. I said, so I texted her back and I said, how do you know she's bored? Did she tell you? And she texts back and she says, no, she just doesn't want to eat very much at night. I said, big meal at noon, biggest meal in the breakfast, and small meal in the evening. And she wrote back and she says, duh, you've told me that hundreds of times, but I didn't know that worked for babies. And they feed her a big meal at noontime, big breakfast, and supper time she doesn't want much to eat. That's just the way, natural way. And you ever hear of babies having their days and nights mixed up? So many parents feed them big meals at 10 o'clock at night, hoping they'll sleep through the night.
Right.
And they get their days and nights mixed up. That's what it's all about. I have people coming in my office that's 55, 60, 65 years old. They still have their days and nights mixed up. And some of them never can get them switched. They've had it all their life that way. Any other questions?
I guess from what you're saying, you could gain and lose energy 2 ways, in what you eat, but also when you eat.
Yes, well, all these rules are there. When you come in to see me, I explain the rules to you that are relevant to your health. I don't go through all 3,000 rules, but I explain several of the rules. I explain the rules, you don't even know I'm talking about the rules, but I tell you the rules. And any of these rules you break, it causes a loss of energy. The more of the rules you follow, the better your health will become. I tell people all the time, you should try to do everything as exactly as I tell you, because everything works with this program. The more you follow, and I also tell people don't get overwhelmed. You start, and this thing kind of grows on you. And you start, and you do a month or two, and you start getting a little healthier, a little bit, energy goes up a little bit, you understand a little bit more. This brain starts changing, and then you'll understand a little bit more. And it kind of grows on you. It's impossible for you to absorb everything in one time. It's like trying to go out and become a brain surgeon overnight. It doesn't work. You have to go through years and years and years of schooling. I've spent 40 years, almost 40 years in this, figuring this thing out.